Hi.
Hi.
Wow, that's weird. Okay, this is called Bite the Bullet. 1. I know I can't tell the story how it happened, because even if I told it exactly how I remember it, it would all be a lie. I mean, it would only be my truth, which doesn't mean dick to a dead man. All stories are lies, I think, at least to someone. We both did bad things, but neither of us were bad people. He was one of my best friends, and just when he could be the biggest schmuck, he would turn around and be like Moses, parting the Red Sea of my college despair with a bong hit and long, greasy blonde hair, always dangerously close to going up in flames, Ozzy Osbourne blaring, and chemistry textbooks open and ignored. I could never hate the guy. This one time when I was all messed up because my boyfriend left me, Pete got his truck and took me down to the beach to get away from all the people in town. We didn't talk or touch or anything. He just took me away to be quiet and sad when everyone else was just getting me stoned. I think he read a calculus book while the sun burned away my melancholy, thick like Dixie Peach pomade, waxy and resilient depression that stuck to everything until Pete took me to melt it away. His lineage went back to Germany, which gave him that blonde hair and his cold, tired blue eyes. He told me that he was sorry that his family had probably killed a lot of mine in the war, and I believe that he was. To him, that was mindless murder, not the artistic endeavor that murder should be, each one a crimson Picasso, calculated and gorgeous, bloody, exact, and icy. Gas chambers would have been too boring for Pete. I'm sure he found the numbers impressive, the scope of the massacre romantic, but except for the medical torturous deaths, those in the showers were simply too banal for an artist like Pete. 2. He was in Robert's bed across the room, passed out when I came to, nauseous and half naked, a rancid film on my swollen tongue that took up too much room in my hungover mouth. I knew as soon as I woke up that something was weird. My pants were on the floor, but my underwear was still around my ankles. He hadn't bothered with my shirt. That's how I knew he would never love me. He didn't even bother with the shirt. He didn't want to look at my body. I put on my pants and woke him up and asked what happened. He asked what usually happened when I woke up naked in his bed. The other times that we had had sex, we never slept together. He would just leave and I would lay there fantasizing about a time when he would stay with me. And now he had the audacity to spend the night in a different bed when he didn't even take off my shirt. I yelled at him for a while about what an asshole he was and why take something that you've already been given freely and that you never wanted in the first place. When I told my friend about it, she said he raped me. I never felt raped. It was just really sad. I was sad because I trusted him and it was like he had lied to me. But mostly I was sad because I loved him and he didn't love me back. 3. I was writing a speech like 2 years later for Take Back the Night when I remembered waking up in the middle of it and feeling him coming from behind me sprawled out across my lifeless ass. I think I was so drunk I just wanted to pass out so I wouldn't have to deal with the scene. The memory made me want to talk to someone, so I talked to him. I told him that he raped me and he said he didn't remember it that way, but what he remembered wasn't important. He said that if I felt that way, I needed to feel better. For 3 hours, he sat there and helped me put myself back together. He told me about how smart I was and how funny, and that he was sorry that that's what I remembered, and he wasn't just saying it. He never thought about it the way I did. He just sat there letting himself be called a rapist so I could feel better. Our friends thought I was creating drama, making the whole thing up for attention. It had been 2 years, and what was the point now, they said. I was lying, and they made me think that too. But Pete didn't. He said I needed to be okay, and that I didn't deserve what he did. When he said he didn't remember it that way, I wonder if he was blacked out and didn't remember it at all. I wonder sometimes if that's the first time he had somebody tell him what he already knew he was capable of, what all his anger did when his consciousness checked out with the 13th beer. But while we talked in that room, he was the best friend I ever had, and even though without him I wouldn't have needed a friend, he was the only one strong enough to deal with it. I think it was the only time he ever cleaned up after himself, and that meant the world to me. It was the most support I got from our friends. No one else wanted to think of him as that word and to have to choose to hate him. Neither did I, because I wasn't mad anymore. I think I was just scared of him because he was getting worse. 4. He dropped out and moved to San Francisco. I felt safer because he was drinking on a sort of psychotic level then, and there were stories about other girls floating around. He was getting to be a meaner drunk. One time he tried to strangle Simon. Simon was his best friend. 5. I heard he was doing heroin, but was a much nicer junkie than he was an alcoholic. 6. An old friend's band was playing that I really wanted to see, but I didn't go because I was afraid to see Pete. The stories had progressed. He was constantly talking about murder and serial killers. A few people had told me he threatened them with knives at their necks. I don't know if he really wanted to kill them or if he just liked seeing them scared. I don't know how much he hurt. I don't know if he sat up alone at night fighting the urge to kill himself or someone else. I don't know when I started thinking of him as the weakest man I'd ever known, or when I started being scared that he might kill me. I don't know if he felt anything good anymore. I don't think anybody heard him laugh anymore. The last time I saw him, he told me how rad John Wayne Gacy was between nods, showing me a beautifully painted trading card of Gacy in his clown makeup, with facts on the back like he was an ace pitcher for the Yankees. The card was given to me with a shaky hand, thin and unsure, attached to his arm, limp and bruised and pasty like battered pork. But he was kicking skag now and went back to the bottle in a blind lust for something to kill the pain. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but something happened to that guy when he was just a child, and I think it was the parts of that child that meant so much to me. He got better and better at suffocating the kid so it wouldn't scream when anybody could hear him. I guess at the show he just went nuts and started screaming about becoming the white trash rapist that everyone thought he was anyway. He yelled about everything and scared the crap out of a bunch of friends who called to tell me it was a good thing I didn't go. After he left the show, he scored a bunch of junk and OD'd. He was pissed that he woke up. After hearing about it, I was scared to sleep because I'm not that hard to find, and I knew I was the one who hung that name on him, and he was wearing it like a scarlet R, a victim of injustice, the whole world against him. And even though I never felt raped, it doesn't change the fact that I was passed out and he never asked. And that's what they tell me rape is, and I told him so. So sometimes I pictured him climbing the steps to my apartment, but I wanted him to be better so that we could be friends again and hang out, even though I knew he was there to kill me. I never hated him. I cared about him, but I think he hated me. But maybe that's giving myself too much credit. 7. He started doing rat poison. 8. I got a message on the machine from Simon to call him, and I knew that Pete was dead. I thought it would be the junk, but it wasn't. He had bought a gun and locked himself in his room for 3 days before he finally blew his head off. I wonder if he felt the heat of the bullet or pain or anything. I wonder if he was just kicking dope and that was pain enough. I wonder if he was crying like that one time in my room when he was punching the walls and screaming and crying about all the pain and the anger, but we never knew what he was angry at. I hope that somehow pulling that trigger brought him a sort of happiness, even if it was just the happiness of a killer attaining his goal. I hope he had at least that, but I doubt it. Most people would look at what he did and call me the victim, and even though it's the last thing he would ever want to be called, I think he was the victim, really. He left his brains on the wall for our friends to scrub off, which is so Pete, really. I finally cried about it 2 weeks ago, which surprised me. I thought if I didn't cry at the wake, I never would. The truth is, he was my friend a long time ago, and he helped me get through something when no one else did. Does it really matter that he was the one who did it?
Yeah.
And this is called Music That You Can Shop To. And so yeah, I'm not going to make any feeble excuses. Bottom line, I love the mall. Any mall, the concept of mall. I love the fucking mall. I go to the mall like religion. I miss it when I'm away. I miss the hiss of broken sound bites, family squabbles over Mrs. Fields, mismatched socks on kids just insisting to dress themselves, the font on a Gap tag, universal and comforting, a slight change in curvature and pricing, and it's just a breath from Banana Republic. I love the sweet and weighty stink of the perfume counters at the department stores, always at the ends of my temple. I love contempo casuals, which should have been named cheap clothes for trashy girls or trashy clothes for cheap girls, but who cares, because the colors of the cotton poly blends and shiny nylons spill off the overcrowded racks into my heart as I listen to teenage girls scheme about changing clothes at school, stealing each other's boyfriends, and who has a crush on the PE teacher, because shit, she may as well be a boy too. Plastic hair toys and retro piece mood rings glint on hundreds of fingers in the glow of the travesty of fluorescent lighting. But we don't care. We're shopping, man. We're in the fucking zone. Nothing can touch us. The look on the face of the salesgirl, her green sparkly nails tapping at the credit card machine as she finds the words to tell her $400 customer, "I'm sorry, it's been declined." Well, I have a check. I mean, I can't be out of money. I still have checks. Everyone with an earshot stares at their hip and stylish boots, knowing that this may be them in a minute, but still feeling disdain for the compulsive fool at the register. Tap, tap, tap. The nails wait as I cruise out the store to the hall where the floors are always neutral and there's nowhere to smoke anymore, but these people don't have time to smoke. We deal one vice at a time in the mall. I pass the food court, blonde girls at hot dog on a stick and funny hats and bad vests, but undeniably sexy. Hey, don't laugh because I know you've cruised them. Chinese food, Mexican food, salads, frozen yogurt, around the world in 10 minutes. to inhale this wham bam no thank you ma'am vitality as you sort people by their food. You know who gets the hot dogs on sticks, we all know. And into the body shop, sense of relaxation unfurl out the door, lavender pleating and aromatherapy foot baths begging you to go home and do something nice for yourself after a rough day at the mall. The bags are plastered with politically correct lefty slogans for trade, not aid, and stopping the violence. Your purchase of seaweed and loofah soap, white musk cologne, and peppermint foot lotion is helping someone, man. This isn't just shopping, oh no, it's activism! And out the door, feeling righteous you go, on to J. Crew, where your wealthy inner preppy screams to be placated. You finger the racks of silk and linen wraparounds, power suits with satin lining, billowy cotton roll neck sweaters, pleading with your East Coast roots to take them home. But today, your wealthy inner preppy loses the battle to your economically challenged outer slacker, and all you get is a pair of socks, off-white with navy and green stripes for the bargain price of $8 American. Cotton never goes out of style. You hold your head high leaving the store, knowing where it all leads. You are headed there, to the pinnacle of any mall lucky enough to be so blessed. All so you can finally reach the destination. You save it for last every time. You know it'll be there exactly how you left it. You save it for last because if you've had a good day, you're sure to top it off, and any bad day at the mall can never be terminal because you can always make it there. It'll never desert you, never leave you cold. The Mac counter is the reigning empress of the mall. The sleek packaging and matte black finish, the slight pressure as the tubes of lipstick slide open, glossing your lips in cyber, plastique, diva, which of course used to be Barushka, Viva Glam, Wuss, Fetish, Vibe, Haku, Paramount, Film Noir, Delish, Illumina, Blade, Folio, Icon. They're all there to greet you with open arms, and the shadows, the pencils, glamorous even in science speakers you never thought to steal from your high school chem lab, lining eyes and lips, defining all with the scent of gorgeous, because if you keep coming back, you get to see the Mac girls and boys behind the counter, the beautiful people. If you come often enough, which you do, oh yes, no matter who you are, there are two unspoken goals: to do them or to be them. Trained to flirt and glamorize, accessorize and agonize, I could be a Mac girl. I could have those lips, those hips. I find myself buying only black clothes and chunky silver jewelry. I want to smell of Mac. I want to reek the cool and distant stink of high femme glamour. At the Mac counter, I'm Audrey Hepburn, neck of forever, a film built around the endlessness of the perch of my flawless face. At the Mac counter, I'm Marlene Dietrich. I'm Lauren Bacall. I'm Madonna Louise Ciccone. I'm Bridget Bardot. I'm Tyra Banks. I'm Jean Harlow, Betty Grable, Christy Turlington, Sandra Bernhard, Janine Garofalo. I'm Emma fucking Peel. 3 tubes, 2 pencils, a shadow, and some foundation secured. I leave the counter, sailing gracefully back through the sunshine of San Francisco, taking the F-Market trolley outbound to certain glory, the wind slipping through the window to massage my huge soap opera hair, full lips, angular cheekbones, and mascaraed eyelashes. Who needs 15 minutes of fame when you can have a whole afternoon of the mall?